morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos on this Thursday, July the 26th, as we get ready for a big weekend of Reunion 2018. All starts on Friday and Saturday, and hundreds of, hopefully, former Trojans will be in town to enjoy that weekend together. Hope that everybody's doing well this morning as we head into the last few days of July. That means football. The local schools will be going at it on the official day, I think, is, let's see, it would be the 1st. So August the 1st is when the official day for football practice begins. Of course, they've been practicing all summer. There's a big camp in Troy today. Over 200 kids from all over the state of Alabama. This is a camp that they hold each year at Troy for recruits, players that that will be on their recruiting list, and they'll be here to work out for the team. And they'll be here from 8 o'clock this morning to about noon. So if you want to get out and see some good football players, high school players, that will be here for about a half a day today. And again, recruiting is so important in college football, and this is a great opportunity to get the guys that they're recruiting in town to one more, and give them one more look at them before they go back and start their own high school senior year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got the phone ringing this morning. Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham, Alabama. How's everything up there?
It's chilly today, man. It's like 66 degrees.
Boy, I tell you, I just saw something that came across the board that really is going to hurt Troy a little bit. The Troy Sportsplex is losing the South Central Regional Softball Tournament. You know that tournament I said it had over 55 schools last year? Well, they're losing it to Dothan. Well, let's see, wait a minute. The regional, which usually includes teams in the Alabama High School Athletic Association areas 5 through 8, including a handful of North Wiregrass teams, was held every year in Troy from the last 2009 to 2018. The city of Dothan.
Sure, it's just lack of hotels, Doug.
Yeah, I know it. The city of Dothan also submitted a bid to host the South Central region, looking to host at the new James Oaks Park. However, the Steve Savarese of the High School Athletic Association said Dothan didn't fit with the South Central region. So, but now it looks like the contract for the Gulf Shore, well, let's see. I reckon the contract's going to go to Dothan. I don't, if I read it right, but that's a big event that comes to Troy every year, and it's I hate to see it go. That's a lot of revenue for our city.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike, football season starts for the high schools bright and early on August the 1st. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's just one of those situations. They've actually been practicing since June. Actually, they have spring training, and then they kind of go into practice after that. So I think these kids probably get off a week, maybe for the 4th of July, and maybe a week.
And we need TV on up down here.
And probably have a week. Maybe they're off then, but it's pretty much all summer they're having to practice. So I mean, these kids are really sacrificing and dedicated to play football.
Yeah, no question about it. It is hard work.
You probably would have practiced in June, but I know I wouldn't have wanted to.
Nah. Well, of course, August the 1st is when the official day for practice is. They've got picture day coming up. In fact, we need to get over there and do their picture day this morning or tomorrow morning. We'll be checking that schedule. But if somebody knows exactly when the picture day will be, please call us this morning. We'd love to know the official time to be in the stadium to interview these players. Of course, Mike, they've got a big camp. The recruiting camp is coming to Troy this morning just for a half a day, but they get one last look at them before they those kids start practicing and getting ready for their senior year.
You know, that's how the majority of college coaches find players now through their camps. You know, they've known some of these kids since the 9th grade, so that makes sense. Nick Saban was on ESPN yesterday and said he's told both players you got to win the team. Everything you do to bring attention to yourself, or anybody even in your family that brings attention to yourself, you're not doing yourself a service and trying to win the team. So he's talking about Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. As far as the quarterback competition goes, Jalen Hurts told Saban that he will be there for that first game against Louisville. And a lot of people are taking that as that he'll be there, but then the fact he graduates in December, you know, if he was the redshirt and only playing 4 games, he can go and play immediately 2 years somewhere, and I think that's what's going to happen with Jalen Hurts.
So you don't think he'll be dressed for the first ball game?
No, I think he'll be dressed. That's what I'm saying. I think he'll probably play in maybe the first 4 games, but after that, I think Tua will obviously be the quarterback.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have Jalen Hurts sitting there just in case Tua was to get hurt. Alabama, you know, has a great situation when it comes to that.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, if you would have heard Gary Danielson talking about Tua the other day on the radio show here in Birmingham, I mean, he compares him to Drew Brees as far as the ability to, you know, pass the ball. Like, he can get, you know, make throws that just a lot of people just can't make. And that's pretty great praise when you're comparing him to Drew Brees.
It sure is. And, you know, but again,
realize how great Drew Brees is.
You know, we don't know how he'll play on the extended season. You know, he played in a half. Really,
well, they played him almost the whole second half of the Tennessee game. If anybody watched that.
How good a runner is he? Is he a better runner than Hurt?
How much scramble plays he made against Georgia?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But is he the type of runner that Hurt is?
No, nobody's the type of runner Hurt is.
Do you think that Alabama might use Hurt as a running back? Have you ever thought about that?
Alabama's got too many running backs to play Hurts as a running back. The only thing I heard, I mean, this is rumored yesterday, but some people say he's starting to run routes. So I don't know if that means he'll play, you know, a little bit of wide receiver. He's a big physical guy.
What's a great player for Green Bay that I like so much that played at Kentucky? What's his name? Cobb.
Randall Cobb, yeah.
Doesn't he sort of remind you of a Randall Cobb? Wasn't Cobb a quarterback at one time?
Yeah, he was.
And then now he's one of the most.
He even reminds you of Hines Ward. Hines Ward.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Hines Ward too. You're right. Hurt.
He's not going to play quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody knows that.
And what I'm saying, don't feel sorry for Hurt as far as money one day. I mean, he's going to make big money in the pros, don't you think?
I mean, the best story is Braxton Miller at Ohio State. Braxton Miller was an All-American at quarterback at Ohio State.
Was it Miller? Miller, was it?
Yeah, Braxton Miller.
The quarterback.
All-American quarterback at Ohio State. And then J.T. Barrett was coming up.
Yeah.
And J.T. Barrett was a great quarterback, and Miller got hurt. But when Miller came back, he realized he wasn't going to play quarterback in the NFL. He moved to wide receiver, and he's still playing wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And of course, we're going to watch this closely. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Jalen Hurts is a great kid and a great college quarterback, but he's not a pro quarterback.
Yeah. I will say this: if he stayed at Alabama, look out. You know that you have those two players on your football team, you're gonna be pretty good, don't you think?
Well, I mean, Alabama's ranked #1 every year anyway. It doesn't really make a difference. And thank goodness they play Auburn at home. I think that's the biggest thing on their schedule is they play Auburn at home and not Jordan Hare.
Yeah. Okay, want to congratulate the Dixie Bells. Good morning to you guys and girls and men and women who are heading right now as we speak to Alexandria, Louisiana to play in the World Series of high school softball. Mike, I'm going to tell you something that I learned yesterday talking to Scott Reeder, who has worked with this program for years and doesn't have doesn't have a daughter in the game. He just had coached girls softball for the last almost 10 years, maybe 12 years. Troy, Alabama, 6 out of the last 7 years had been in the World Series. Can you believe that? Of 13, 14, and 15-year-old girls. Six out of the last 7 years, they've been in the World Series. But now he really likes this team. He thinks this team's got it all as far as hitting and pitching and great defense. And
what are the ages again?
13, 14, and 15. A lot of these girls play at Pike Liberal. They've got about 4 or 5 good pitchers. Then a lot of these kids play at Goshen, Charles Henderson, and Brundage. They're pretty much local kids, and really are outstanding softball players. And as they head out this morning, I want to thank our good friend Robert K.T. Cole Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, if you had watched the cake sale the other day, and of course sometimes it can be quite entertaining, especially when we go down the stretch and we hadn't met our goal. Our goal was $2,000, Mike, on Friday, and we were heading down the stretch, and we had a few cakes left, and we didn't have much time left. And Robert K.T. Cole Jr. came up with $360 to make it a $2,000 day for that team. And again, thanks so much to his generosity. You know, he's done it over and over and over throughout the years, Mike. What a generous guy KT Cole is.
Yeah, I mean, he always has been, and that's great that he would do that.
You know, when you were a little boy, and of course KT Cole and I grew up together, ladies and gentlemen, and we played football together. And probably the reason I'm in the shape I'm in today is because we used to bang heads in football together. And when we graduated from high school in 1965, KT Cole immediately joined, went to college, but then joined the Marine Corps. He wanted to be a part of the Marine Corps. Green Davis, who was sort of his idol growing up, the great Green Davis, who was he was one of those sergeants, Mike, that drill sergeants for many years, and KT wanted to be just like him, and he went into the Marine Corps and became a decorated Marine. And all these Purple Heart signs that you see everywhere, you go out to the cemetery and you see the Armed Forces area out there, which is phenomenal. You see like I said, you see the purple. Do you see them in Birmingham much, Mike? These
No, they actually have Purple Heart parking.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, KT Cole was right in the middle of all of that, and
I live right next. I live off Mount Brook, that's baby over here, and there's a Piggly Wiggly off Overton Road next to Colorado River. They have those Purple Heart parking spots for military.
Yeah. Well, and he had a lot to do with it. He was very involved in it, but of course, right now to this day, he's still nursing injuries that he received in Vietnam. Agent Orange, and a lot of other things that went with it. He still goes to the.
Is he a part of that Coach Frank Sadler lawsuit? Have any of you guys settled with Coach Sadler?
No,
yet?
we haven't, but we should. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Parkinson's disease, and a lot of people know that. I'm shaking, as we speak. But a lot of it can be. I had several head injuries, or what do you call it when you get knocked out?
Concussion.
Concussions, yeah. Playing high school and college football, but that's life. That's what was the cards I was dealt with, and hopefully I can live with it for as long as the Lord will let me. And
yeah, we need to donate your brain one day.
You know what is going to happen when I do go with all this history, Mike? what I was talking about, I don't know a lot of history, but the history I do know, I let people know about. I was with a good friend.
You definitely know a lot of history when it comes to Troy and Pike County and the surrounding areas.
Well, I tell you what, I was with a dear friend of mine yesterday, and he's going through a hard time. And but you know what? I've never seen so much class and dignity in my life. You know, you can face hardship in two ways. Either face it crying on somebody's shoulder, or wanting to get relief from the pain all the time and so forth, which you do, or you can face it like you live your life with
how far away do y'all have people coming for this big reunion this weekend?
We've got I know one person's coming, and one couple is coming from Naples, Florida. I know that's coming up from. That's about 9 hours, something like that.
And y'all are required to have at least 2 or 3 ambulances on site.
You know, last night I was out doing a little decorating and getting ready for the big event.
You're having to decorate this event?
Well, I don't have to.
Surely you got some ladies that come.
I don't have to. You know, this is pretty much a one-man show. And but the thing about it, you know, I want it to look good, and it's looking good right now.
What about Troy University getting no respect in that first game against Boise State? Lions out in Vegas today have Boise 10.5 to beat the Troy Trojans.
Oh boy, against Troy at home on a hot summer. Let me just say this to you folks in Boise, and of course there are people watching, believe you me, on Facebook this morning, because this is a famous show, Mike, with a famous broadcaster talking about Trojan Auto Parts and Dulce, the New York style bakery we have in downtown.
This is today in LA and Los Angeles.
Exactly, well, it goes out there. But you folks from Boise, you haven't seen hot until you get here. Today in Troy, Alabama, the temperature will be 101 degrees.
Man, y'all must have, it must be a cutoff, because up here it's still in the low 90s.
101 degrees is forecast today in Troy, Alabama. You folks from Boise don't know what hot is, my friend. Hey, you got a real dry heat. Hey, here, you going to sweat.
Are you going to take Alabama minus 25.5 against Louisville?
You know, that is a lot of points, isn't it? You know, I might take Louisville in the points there.
25.5 points against a team that has an offensive guru as a coach.
Yeah.
4 points. And Alabama lost all those guys on defense. I don't know. That's a tough number to get to.
You know what? They're going to score at least 17 or 21 points, I would think Louisville would.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's what you're talking. You know, even a 42-17, they win the money.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
That's interesting. Auburn is 3 against Washington. A lot of people think that Auburn-Washington game is going to be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, but still, I'd take Auburn. I'd take those Auburn Tigers every day of the week. Just like old Van Hoos. Hey, just like old Van Hoos said when they were asked Van Hoos who's the greatest running back of all times at the University of Alabama, they asked the legendary Alf Van Hoos, the Birmingham News editor, who he thought was the best. Well, he said, guys, as he sat around the table, and all these sports writers, they love Bobby Humphrey, and they love Johnny Musso, and I love Johnny Musso. He's one of my favorite players of all time. And then, of course, the great one from Ozark, Mike, Wilbur Jackson, and of course, there were several I mentioned.
I mean,
and then when it got over,
years later, Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram.
Yeah, but listen, Mike, let me tell you this. Let me tell you something, and you can believe it. And there are a few people out there that saw him play. But when it got to Van Hoos said, you know, those guys were great players. Musso, Humphrey, and my buddy from Ozark, again, Mike, Wilbur Jackson ran, like Coach Bryant said, he ran with his feet close to the ground. Have you ever heard that saying before?
Yeah.
Well, he says, guys, all of them were great, But ladies and gentlemen, I will take the orphan boy from Troy, Bobby Marlowe, any day of the week. And hey,
don't you think
the
about
great
it,
Bobby Marlowe from the Alabama Baptist Children's Home out here, Mike, was by experts the greatest running back in Alabama history.
Don't you think back then, though, they didn't play anybody? I mean, the competition was nothing compared to what you play today with
Well,
your big, strong,
yeah.
physical athletes. I mean, back then he was probably just bigger and stronger than everybody else.
Yeah, he was raised at the Baptist Children's Home, and when if he didn't play football, he had to go slop the hogs. You don't know a thing about slopping the hogs, have you? You ever heard that saying before?
So, I mean, would you have taken Bobby Marlowe in his prime or Cinquay Pennington in his prime?
Oh, Bobby Marlowe still. Well, I don't know. Cinquay was a great high school player that could fly. Now, Bobby ran about 9.9. Maybe he was a 9.9 sprinter. He could run. He was so rugged.
Did people not run the 40s back then? Is that not something people did?
No, they didn't run 40s back then. No, they didn't run 40s. When you got to camp, they make you run a mile. Make you run a mile in 6 minutes, and make a lineman run it in 6:30. But what he did, though, the big difference was he had to go both ways. He played defense and he played offense, and he was a great hitter. And they said he was. Well, let's say this: he made All-American, first team All-American as a running back and as a linebacker. Can you believe that?
So the greatest running backs to come out of Pike County would be Stephen Coleman, Cinquay Pennington, Bobby Marlowe. Who else are we leaving out?
Well, let's see. Those were great ones. Coleman out of Brundage, Cinquay, Ronaldo, Mike. Hey, look, don't leave out Ronaldo Cinquay Pennington.
Yeah, we just mentioned him.
And that tailback, and he's a good one, Ronaldo Cinquay Pennington. You go to Elba, you ask anybody from Elba this morning, the greatest running back they have ever seen, and they had Horsted down there, was Ronaldo Cinquay Pennington. 2 years in a row, he gained over 300 yards against a proud Elba defense.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that back then, my senior year, Charles Henderson was a 5A school, Elba was a 3A school.
Yeah, they were good, though.
And now Elba, years later, is now 1A.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that.
Elba wore Troy out many times, especially under Mac Wood.
Pate Harrison is taking over a 1A Elba. It's hard to believe. But Pate's a good coach, and they'll have a good team.
Oh, man, look out for the Elba Tigers, no question about it.
I mean, if Elba might be the worst thing that's ever happened for the dynasty up in Maplesville.
Of course, the team that won the state championship had a guy named Jerry Beverly, Mike, who was a great high school player. He was a tailback but because of injuries, he had to play fullback, and he led them to Troy's only state championship back in 1980. They won the 4A state championship.
Who are y'all's running backs? Rusty Gibson and James Lucas?
Well, no, I'll tell you our running backs, and they were good in 1964 when we won the South Alabama Conference Championship right here at Charles Simpson High School. The quarterback was Johnny Teal, a great athlete. You've heard that name. We've had the Johnny Teal Award at Charles Simpson for over 30 years.
Johnny was in a car wreck and passed away when he was, in his 20s?
Yeah, well, he was 19 years old when he was killed in a car wreck, along with Johnny Helton and Dennis McGlon, two good friends of mine. All three of them good friends of mine. But the running backs for our team were very good. You had Teal at quarterback. You had Sonny Williford, who is about as good
I forgot about Sonny.
About as good a player as ever come out of Troy. We were talking about it the other day. He was another good one that could run and would refuse to go down. You don't know anything about being a running back, Mike, that refuses to go down. That's the way Musso was. That's the way Marlowe was. I mean, hey, you had to. They run sometimes with 3 legs. Have you ever seen a back run with 3 legs?
Yeah, he has his hand down.
He's got his hand down, and that's the way Musso ran, and the way Sonny Williford ran. with great balance. You know, they had great balance, and then of course Sonny ran 10 flat 100. He was real fast. But the other running back, we probably don't get as much praise that he should have, was Rusty Gibson. Rusty wore number 44, and he was raised out here at Gibsonville off the Shell Highway, and everybody knows who those Gibsons were. And of course, Rusty was an outstanding running back. Of course, now one of the top legal attorneys in the country, and lives on the 18th hole.
Golf course.
Yeah, one of the best golf courses in the country. And doesn't he play golf? But he was a great one. James Lucas was a backup. He and now of course Buck Corley was the fullback. Buck was a very good player, solid player, had great legs, and we grew up together from the 8th grade on.
I'll tell you, some of the funniest times of my life is seeing James Lucas, probably in his late 40s.
Oh yeah.
Outrunning guys on my baseball team.
He was. Let me tell you this.
You remember when he was outrunning everybody?
Oh yeah. He was a real good athlete. He went on and played and was a star player.
Near Sanford.
Yeah, at Sanford. He played 4 years of college football and was a very good player and could run. He was also a good hurdler in track, Mike. He was just a good athlete, and he was solid at rock. Of course, he played a lot. He was one of the very few underclassmen. Our team was made up. The team that won the South Alabama Conference Championship was made up mostly of seniors. There were three guys that were juniors that played some. One of them was Lucas, who played quite a bit. The other one and he started was Perry Green, little Tank Green. You know, we call him Tank. Well, when he grew up, he had a big old belly, and we call him Tank. He played slow motion football with us, and you know, a lot of people don't realize this. You're getting good hands with Allstate. See Perry Green at the Worthington group. Well, hey, Perry Green started.
The whole team was a bunch of senior starters.
That's right.
A few juniors that played?
No. I'm just telling you, there were 3 juniors that played, maybe 4. A boy named
64 team or 65?
64 team, his football team. The football team.
That was your senior year, was 64?
Yeah, the senior year was 65, but the senior football year, Mike.
Oh, it was 64. Yeah,
64,
okay.
And we won the championship. But let me finish up. Tank Green was the center, and he played this junior and senior year. Johnny Worthington, you know, the city council. Now, they don't get any more hard-nosed than Johnny Worthington, Mike. He was really hard-nosed. He played corner, and you know, he didn't start, but he played a lot on that. And, you know, came in and played a lot. And but it just wasn't many underclassmen that played. We'd grown up together, the team I played on, and you know, we had Wayne Qualls and Jerry Allen at the ends, which were very good players.
Did y'all have the big guy that was like Pouncey, that was like 6'5"?
Big John Pouncey was 6'5", 6'6", weighed about 280 pounds, and back then that was huge.
That was like unheard of, wasn't it?
And then the guard next to him went to Florida, signed with Florida, Bill Price. He weighed about 230. And then yours truly, who weighed about 175 pounds soaking wet. I was more of a defensive player. But Charles Ammons was another good player that I grew up with. And
how many guys did y'all dress back then? Did y'all all have to play?
We dressed about, well, we played a lot of people both ways, but we dressed about 35 or 40, probably around 40. And we wore those.
How many people were in your graduating class?
We were big. We had 156 seniors. We were one of the largest classes.
That is big, because we had 165 my senior year in 1994.
Yeah, well, let me just say this: we had one of the largest groups ever. We were the war babies. You know, the folks after they come back from the war in 46. I was born in 47. Well, in 46, the guys coming back from the war. Ended up getting their wives pregnant, and they had babies in 47, and that's when most of all of us were born in 47.
And back then, when y'all played, I guess the football stadium, Memorial Stadium, and Troy's football stadium probably was sat about what, 5,000?
Oh gosh, yeah, and it had. They had just put some concrete bleachers across the way. For a long time, they had wooden bleachers on the visitor side. but they'd put some concrete bleachers, and then you know, that was the year that they brought in, the year after I graduated from high school, they brought in Billy Atkins to coach at Troy, and he started bringing in some real good players, and time sort of the stadium grew a little bit after that for a little while. It held about 9,000 or 10,000.
Have you seen the view of the new stadium?
Oh man, it is beautiful, and I've seen the outside. I've seen all of the outside, but hey, I haven't been in on the inside, and I don't know many people that have seen the inside. But it's going to be quite a facility. The stadium looks great. It really does, and everything about Troy Athletics looks great, and the campus, it looks great. I did a film about it a week or so ago, and I was proud of it that we were able to see it, show all the beautiful spots at Troy University, and it's growing, and they expect another record enrollment. They graduate 500 tomorrow, which in the spring they graduated 700, which those are big. That 700 is a huge graduating class. But even in the summer, they graduate 500. That'll tell you how it's growing.
Yeah, I mean, what is the enrollment now? Around 8,000?
Yeah, 8,000, a little bit over. I wouldn't doubt that in a couple of years we'll have 10,000 students. It's really growing.
Man, that would be hard to believe.
Yeah.
University would have 10,000 students.
That's right. And that's on the campus.
When I went to school started in '94, there was probably 4,000 students.
That's right.
I mean, you knew everybody back when I was in school. It was just like, it was just that small.
Yeah. But, you know, that was what made it great. And again, you know, it's facilities are getting better and better. And mid-level, I'd put our mid-level Division I. And I'm talking about that would include the Southern Mississippi's, the Memphis's, who's some others, Mike? The mid-level.
You got Boise State, you got Southern Miss,
yeah.
You got Memphis, you've got
UAB.
You got Houston.
Yeah, Houston, yeah.
Navy, teams out west, you got like Fresno State.
Exactly. Mid-level, you know, what I'm saying, we're talking about teams that have 30,000, 35,000 seat stadiums. You know, the high levels have 75, 85, 100,000 seat stadiums. I would call them the top level of Division I. But mid-level, I'd put our facilities up against anybody. You'd have to throw Rice in there, and you would throw, you know, a lot of other schools in there. But Troy would rank. I don't think there's any question that our facilities in the Sun Belt are the best. What do you think?
Well, I mean, in the Sun Belt, I guess stadiums we've been to, Long Monroe Stadium is awful.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette Stadium's kind of average.
Yeah, it's pretty good now. They've got the Cajun Dome, which is a big dome arena.
The basketball arena holds about 11,000.
Yeah.
Let's see. Georgia Southern Stadium's not much to it. It's all right.
It's going to get bigger, I think.
I've never seen Coastal, but you said Coastal had a nice.
Oh yeah, well it's small right now, but it's going to be beautiful. That campus at Coastal is really pretty. Their baseball field looks like a minor league baseball field.
I've been to Arkansas State Stadium a couple times. It's nothing that great.
Really?
They do have the big,
it goes high.
The athletic complex in the end zone, which a lot of people like. Let's see, go around the board here. Appalachian State, I've never been to.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus, Appalachian State.
Alabama plays in the Dump last stadium.
Yeah, but once they get on-campus stadium, look out for South Alabama. They're going to be something.
I've never been to Texas State. You've probably never been to Texas State, have you?
Yeah, I have. When it was West Texas State, Southwest Texas State. Yeah, I went out there. You know, I used to go to every game, Mike. Hey.
Now, you did see the Turner Field that got turned into a football stadium.
Oh yeah, and that's going to help them a lot. That's going to help Georgia State a lot, having that facility.
Okay.
You know, they may. You know, it's you can tell it's a baseball stadium, but it's going to be real nice, no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Troy's probably definitely got the nicest in the Sun Belt now.
Yeah, I think so. And
I mean, he went to Southern Miss when Troy beat Southern Miss 2 years ago. Their stadium's not nicer than Troy's, is it? I know
no. Our stadium's a lot. I mean, their stadium's old. Now they have a big side now. They go up real tall. They got a huge side, and they've got a nice stadium, but it's a much older stadium. The campus is a much older looking campus, but Southern Miss is still a pretty big school, and I think Southern Miss has about 15,000 on campus.
Yeah, I know it's pretty big. Harrisburg's a pretty big town.
Yeah. And everybody was telling me recently that Mississippi State is really growing.
Starkville, that stadium expansion they did there to get it to about 61,000. It looks really nice.
And their program, as far as fan base, Max Howard says that it far exceeds Ole Miss as far as fan support, because now
their tailgate. Like my wife's a Mississippi State grad. She said they didn't even tailgate back when she was in college.
Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, Ole Miss is great. It's great, and they tailgate and have a lot of fun. But the numbers at Mississippi State are outdistancing Ole Miss.
I would much rather live in Oxford, Mississippi than Starkville, Mississippi. I'll tell you that.
Oxford might be one of the great places to live in America. It's a great one. Auburn, Alabama is getting to be one of the great places to live in America. Did you know that?
Yeah, schools and...
Well, golf courses, somebody told me they have 12 golf courses now in Auburn. I remember when I lived there for a year, they had one little old, they had a country club golf course, and then they had one little old, what they call it, what an old boat used to call the bad golf courses, what would he call it?
You talking a dirt course?
Yeah, something like that. He called it something else, but cow pen or pig pen or something like that. But I'll tell you something that is really, really impressed me recently is how well and how good Troy Country Club is now. Their fairways, Mike, look like the fairways that back when we used to go to Shoal Creek. I mean, their fairways at Troy now is outstanding.
Did they put water, sprinkler system?
If you think about it, we get a lot of water now. We haven't had a drought in a long time, but we got a pro that knows what to do. Mm-hmm. And it is really an outstanding golf course, and a lot of people will be playing golf tomorrow. That's with this reunion that we're putting on, and I'm proud of it. I really am. And
I'll tell you what, Troy University's golf facilities, whoever was in charge of revitalizing and redesigning that, it looks amazing too.
As far as the practice facility, it's one of the best around, and that's what it is. You're trying to.
Of course, you could walk down the hill, and you could be there in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. How many times in your life?
10 minutes. Most people take about 5.
You remember it was a public golf course for a long time. But how many times in your life can you remember I said, on a Sunday afternoon usually, I say, grab a sock. And he and we'd take a white sock, one of those stretchy socks.
We'd grab a couple of socks.
And we'd go out and we competed on who could find the most golf balls. But it wasn't fair, because he would go into
the creek.
Yeah, he'd go into the creeks and walk up to ground above his knees, and he'd feel the golf balls with his feet, and he'd reach down and get them. He came out with sack full.
I tell my wife all the time, I wasn't scared of anything when I was a little kid. I'd jump in muddy ponds and
especially when it was a contest between you.
Go anywhere, and now I don't even want to go outside.
Well, it was fun
I didn't have a care in the world when I was a little kid.
But see, one of the things, you wanted to outdo your daddy too, and you did. You.
I tell you what, there must have been a lot of people playing those courses, or a lot of bad golfers that played that course. There's golf balls everywhere to be found.
You're exactly right.
My favorite thing was finding the yellow and the orange ones.
Yeah, that's right. But ladies and gentlemen, I had wheelbarrows full of golf balls back then. And probably didn't practice like I should have.
They drained the pond, and we all jumped in that mud.
Oh yeah, y'all did, yeah.
We probably got about 500 balls.
Yeah, it was fun, and you know, everywhere you've got a golf course, you've got people that go after the balls, and you know, there's some of these major golf courses that you see, you know, balls, you know, there's thousands of balls that hit in the water, and they actually hire divers to go down there and get them. Have you ever heard that?
You know, in Florida, there used to be a show that would show guys going on different golf courses getting in the water, but you know, they're also having to deal with the alligators.
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about an alligator at Crow Lake?
You gotta be kidding me. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
When did that happen?
Well, I was going to public.
That makes me think somebody put one in there.
Well, I'm sure. Well, let me just say this:
something like that.
It can easily happen. You can go down to the Conecuh River, and I guarantee you, there's alligators down there because they come up from Mobile.
Lake Eufaula has some of the biggest alligators in
That's right. And Mike, you've got Whitewater Creek that flows into part of our lake, and they say this alligator's a pretty big alligator.
Really? I would love to see that.
Yeah, and well, I tell you what, if you see him, he's gonna be dead. I don't care how nice he looks and how good you want him to be, but if I see him, I'm gonna shoot him.
Well, that'd be awesome. You can get some boots out of it.
Mike, well, they say that alligator tail is pretty good too.
Actually, I've had alligator. Alligator is pretty good.
But that is true statement. There is been spotted a alligator in Old Crow Lake. So.
Well, he's got all the fish and all the things he wants.
Yeah, all those folks sneaking.
Privately closed pond.
I think say all those folks that are sneaking in to go fishing, they better be careful how they. But you know, people tell me right now that they don't like to fish there because of the snakes. That's more power to them. You know, anytime you got water, you're gonna have snakes. You know, I used to love one of my fun times for years was hunting snakes. I used to hunt them all the time.
Shoot water moccasins?
Yeah, gosh, I enjoyed it.
You know, it's funny. My mother-in-law lives in Mountain Brook on a street called Lake Drive.
Oh yeah, there's snakes in that lake right there. I guarantee
I'm
you.
just saying, it's just like a 4-acre pond, and they actually charge people from Mountain Brook come over there and have a key to get into the gate, fish.
Yeah.
In the heart of Mountain Brook and Crow Lake, you know, it just sits there. I'm sure people would like
and it has 40 acres, you know. So
yeah.
you know, but
it's pretty out there. It's one of those things where I'm sure people can see it from the road.
But anytime you've got water, and I think a lot of people watching today, you know, knows that anytime you got water, any big mass of water, you're gonna have snakes, and now you're gonna have alligators that come up. Those alligators came up from the old Conecuh River and Whitewater Creek, Mike, and those areas.
Yeah, well, you know, Raymond Leopard, our favorite person that comes on our show, the greatest character in Troy, when he comes to tell stories, he claims he saw some kind of cat-like creature cross over to that lake.
Yeah, panther. He thought he saw. He said a panther.
Cougar or a panther. Or
and you know, and if he tells you something like that, you better believe it because he's not going to exaggerate anything about that.
Well, there's no doubt he's one of the biggest outdoorsmen, you know, in Pike County.
Well, let me just say this: panthers come up just the same way. They come up from Florida. You know, they're looking. You know, they're just like anything else. They're looking for food and whatever. You know. Thank goodness I've never seen
mountain
one.
lions on trail cameras and stuff. You know, with those trail cameras.
Well, they're not mountain lions; they're bobcats, is what you see.
Man, they claim that they've seen mountain lions.
Oh no, mountain lions live out in the west.
Well, mountain lions and cougars. You know, I mean, it's the same thing. But they've been spotted in Alabama before.
Oh yeah, and then bobcats.
They've been spotted in Oak Mountain. You wouldn't believe how many bears they catch on trail cameras around Birmingham.
Oh yeah. And when I was up in the mountains,
hey, let me load these girls up. I'll call you back.
All right, good deal. Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Come see us at Don Walker Western Wear. From boots, jeans, and jackets to shirts, hats, and belts, we're your headquarters for Western wear for the entire family. With the largest selection of jeans in town, we carry famous brands like Wrangler, Levi, Carhartt, Ariat, and Cinch. We've also got plenty of styles of boots to choose from, including Justin, Lucchese, Ariat, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Dan Post, and Corral. So come on into Don Walker Western Wear, located on Highway 231 in Troy.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and of course I want to remind you that school is just around the corner, and Troy University will be opening their doors in a couple of weeks for the fall semester. And of course, a good picture of Dr. Jack Hawkins Jr. Talking about what you need to look for when you're looking for a college. The decision of where to go to college is among the most important decisions students will ever make. It may determine their careers and their networks of friends. It may determine their values and the people with whom they will spend the rest of their lives. At Troy, we offer quality academic programs that are affordable, but not at the expense of quality. We have a culture of caring, and our faculty truly embraces the students. Troy University offers values, and these are important for most families in today's world. Signed, Dr. Jack Hawkins Jr., Chancellor of the Troy University System, and what a great job he has done with this university. And yeah, if you ever see him, I tell you, I see him all the time, especially at Rotary and all that. He's the same old guy that walked into Troy 30 years ago, and he's really done more than 30 years ago now. I want to mention baseball a little bit today, and everybody sort of forgets baseball after the fourth because of football. It's coming in here. But the team that everybody is watching closely now is the Boston Red Sox. They lead the American League East by 5.5 games over the Yankees. The Yankees are playing well, but Boston is playing lights out. They've won 7 out of the last 10. And also in the Central Division, Cleveland has just run through that division. They're 8 games up over Minnesota. In the West, you've got Houston 6 games up over Seattle. Looking at the National League, and we're going to touch base a little bit with Atlanta here. Philadelphia and Atlanta are dead even. Well, they've got actually Atlanta a game and a half back of Philadelphia. Then in the Central Division, Chicago, the Cubs lead Milwaukee by a game and a half. Pittsburgh and St. Louis are back behind them. Always watch for St. Louis in the second half. West, Arizona is dead even with Los Angeles Dodgers at 56-46 win-loss. And 2 games back are Colorado, and 4 games back is San Francisco. So a lot of that's going on right now in professional baseball. I want to mention a few other things as we scan through these local papers. As we said earlier, with high school football and the humidity, hopefully coaches will use good judgment and practice early morning or late afternoon. don't try to be a big shot and say, oh, we're hard nosed. We're gonna practice in the heat of the day. Well, let me tell you this: you need to have the best interest of these young men and their families in mind when you're making decisions like that. So try to stay out of the terrible heat as much as you can. And of course, you can get a lot done just walking through things, and these kids are in shape because of these three unbelievable workouts they had to have this spring. So you don't have to get them acclimated to the heat; they are already acclimated against the heat. So again, that is something you should not worry about, is them being in shape. So take it easy. Hey, go in shorts. If you're gonna hit, just hit a couple of days of the week, or maybe not even that many, and then just work with helmets and shoulder pads. You don't have to be in full gear all the time. Already. In fact, go through some tackling drills. You'll know who the hard-nosed guys are. Anyway, so that's all you're concerned about when you go full speed. Anyway, is how hard-nosed these guys are, and you'll find out early the ones that can play and ones that can't play. So helmets and shoulder pads and water, plenty of water breaks. Can you believe back in the mid-50s, and I'm going to talk to you about a team that I used to watch, and brings back a lot of memories. But back when I played, no water break, and if you had a towel that had water, that old ugly saying that you used to have to suck water out of a towel, well, that was true. They would not give you a water break, which is the worst thing I can ever remember. No telling how many young people lost their lives over the years back then when they didn't have water breaks. Well, now, for the last 30 years, I reckon they use water breaks, and they found out that if you're hydrated, you can get a lot more done. So now, hey, I like the idea that whenever a kid needs water, he can leave any kind of a workout and go get water, and then come back after they are fully hydrated. But again, it's judgment, using good judgment out there with it as a coach. And again, you can get a lot done, especially with your timing and all that, with tires and running through the 2-hole, the 4-hole. Hey, without any contact, make sure your timing is there. That when you go to hand off the ball with that dive, that the guy is there and the timing is good. Timing is everything in offensive football, so that is something you need to do. Good picture of the Bells today, the Troy Bells, and boy, what a fine team this is. They're the state champions, and I was talking to you about this team has gone to the World Series 6 out of the last 7 years. I don't know if they have won any of these championships. Max Bundy is their coach, and he has a daughter that's an outstanding pitcher. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Appalachian State is a 24-point underdog at Penn State. I would probably take Appalachian State 24 points at Penn State.
I think Appalachian State's going to be pretty good, and you're exactly right. That might be
I think the lock of the first weekend's Akron, not plus 21 against Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska's going to be a world beater.
And Akron can score. We played, that's Bowden. That's Terry Bowden's team, and I tell you this, they played us tough last year at Troy.
Well, they ended up winning their division of the MAC and went to the championship game and played in a bowl game.
Exactly.
People don't ever really think about how good of a coach Terry Bowden really was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Terry Bowden's a coach.
Well, he won. I'll just tell you this: he won his first 21 out of 22 games. His first 22 games, he was 21-1.
That's right.
And you're right. He was a heck of a coach, and still is. He still can coach. Of course, his daddy's was a great one. You know, no question about
I'll tell
it.
you what, West Virginia's getting a lot of love. A lot of people like West Virginia this year. They're 9.5 to open the season against Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right, and you know, I sort of like Tennessee in that situation. You know, Tennessee's not going to be bad.
Coach, and you know, apparently Tennessee, according to you, is coached by Jeremy Pruitt and Phil Fulmer.
Yeah.
So they got 2 head coaches.
Michael, Deontay Cromartie of Troy is on the Outland Trophy watch, so that's a great honor right there, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you, that's a great credit to Matt Moore when you got 2 guys that are preseason first-team Sun Belt on your offensive line.
Oh yeah, and on these watch lists, and Reese is a story. You know, I'm thinking he is a walk-on.
Walk-on from Wetumpka.
From Wetumpka, and now they're treating him like our long-haired friend, Mike.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts.
Yeah, no, Tyler Roberts, but there was another great one that came here to play quarterback. You remember him?
Yeah, the Bear Woods.
Bear Woods. Bear Woods came to Troy to play quarterback, walk on to play quarterback, and he ended up one of the best special teams players in history. You know, there was another great special teams guy, Mike, that people forget that is now a veterinarian. You know who I'm talking about?
Played at Troy?
Yeah, played at Troy. I used to watch him go down and make tackle after tackle after tackle. But he's a veterinarian now.
Huh. Where that would have been?
I'll come up with that.
What years?
Back in, 10 years ago. I want to mention Goshen has named a new varsity basketball and track coach. Daniel Powell will be replacing former Eagle basketball coach Ethan Carroll. Carroll did a great job. Carroll is now at Hueytown. Powell comes to Goshen after previously coaching junior high basketball at Geneva County. So I'm sure he'll do a good job at Goshen. I want to mention also the Tiger Sharks of the Troy Recreation League swim team, and they've got a good team. We'll be at the state meet starting tomorrow. And of course, as we mentioned, the Bells will be on the road too. I want to mention also Mackenzie Kane is a member of the Troy Bells softball team, and they feature her in the Messenger this morning. Mike, with that this camp this morning, and ladies and gentlemen, you can smell it in the air, football. And I think we've got a picture day, Mike, coming up either today or tomorrow, and we're going to try to get our cameras out to the Charles Simpson Picture Day. I see that Jacksonville State is picked to win the 5th straight OVC title, but that's different ball, Mike. That's completely different ball than what we play.
Well, I mean, you got to play who you're in the conference with, and
I know exactly.
There's a dominant program. So
but wouldn't you like? What if Troy played UT Martin, Eastern Illinois, Eastern Kentucky,
You
Tennessee?
talk about this all the time, but they're
Tennessee
1
State.
That's who they got to play.
I know it, but what I'm saying, if they can't go undefeated playing that kind of bunch, they're not very good, are they?
Well, I mean, you got to admit, Gross has done a good job there.
They've won 32 straight OVC conference games.
Bill Clark was there. And, Bill Clark left and took the UAB job, and then Gross came in straight out of high school and never coached college.
Yeah.
He's done a good job.
Your mom.
You got to realize, I mean, Jack State. I mean, God knows. I mean, their stadium is brand spanking new, 25,000.
No, it's not brand spanking new. It's got an old part too.
Well, I mean, it's been totally,
Yeah, they've got a deal like Troy has. In fact, it's a dorm. What it is, and it's the press box and football facility on the inside, and on the outside it's a dorm.
It's funny. I was reading an article on TroyTrojans.com, and everybody remembers C.J. Carter, and of course the kid Brandon Lockridge, who was a 5th-round pick by the New York Yankees, and they played each other last night, minor league ball, and Carter got saved as they beat the Staten Island Yankees. But that's pretty unique that you finish your college career
Yeah.
Playing minor league ball.
And I met his at the tournament in Athens, Mike. I met his daddy, and he's a fine man. And he and I spoke. I reckon we talked over an hour.
His dad or C.J.
Carter, C.J. Carter's dad. Want to mention, Mike, the Maori Davenport, the great basketball player Charles Henderson, is playing with Team USA 18 and under. Now, what an honor is that?
I tell you what, it's amazing. Some prep school or some big-time high school didn't come and try to recruit her away.
Exactly.
The fact that she stayed at Charles Henderson all this time, so credit to Coach
Jones. Well, something, I tell you what might have something to do with it. They live right next door to each other.
Yeah, that probably helps.
Hey, how would you like to be a coach and have a girl like Davenport move next door, and she turns out to be 6'5" and one of the top basketball players in the nation? She's playing with a basketball team in Colorado in advance of the 2018 USA championships.
I wonder how they can get better.
In Mexico City, Mike. She'll be going to Mexico City on August 1st through the 7th. So this young lady is
starting. The altitude. It's about 7,500 feet.
Now, Mike, let me tell you this. Let me throw something out. If she signed with Troy, that'll never happen. I know, but if she did sign with Troy, she could be a franchise player, and she could take Troy immediately, Mike, to a top 20 program in the country.
I don't know about that.
Mike, she would be that dominating.
Troy's been in the NCAA tournament the last 3 years.
Yeah, but again, Mike, this girl would be dominating. They've never had a player like this, Mike, that can block shots. Anything within 10 feet, Mike, her timing is so good, she's going to block the shot. She's that good.
I don't know if you've ever watched women's basketball, though. The teams like Troy that get in the tournament, they're good teams, don't get me wrong. Congratulations on the NCAA tournament. But once they play the big schools in women's basketball, your Connecticut's, now your Mississippi States, and your Notre Dames, and your Stanfords. The quality of player compared to in the big schools compared to the lower schools, it's not even close. When they get in those regionals, when they start the NCAA tournament, teams are getting beat by 50 and 60 points. It's just that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Well, it really is.
I'll say that, and you're right. I'm not talking about as much now. Of course, there's some good young players on this Charles Henderson team, but they've got a super girl. Mike, this girl is a super girl. Wherever she goes, she will be a franchise player. A dominant player. What I'm saying.
I would love to see her play somewhere in state, either at Auburn or Alabama.
Hey, you know what? She might decide. Troy is Division 1A basketball, just like Alabama and Auburn is.
Well, it's one of those type of things where
What I'm saying, she might be a girl that doesn't want to go home away from home. She might want to stay here with her.
If you want to play close to home, Mississippi State and Starkville's pretty close to Troy. That's about a 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah. Well, she's going to get some.
That program's the most dominant in the country right now.
She's going to get some great offers, and I've said this.
Notre Dame.
To my knowledge, Connecticut has not come to Troy yet, but I guarantee you they'll be here for it's all over because this.
South Carolina's got another great basketball program too. Don Saley's done a really good job there. So
they say this girl is already being every team in the country except for UConn. I'm thinking I'm right here have contacted her.
I've had coaches come up and tell me that she's one of the best they've ever seen in hockey.
Yeah. Let me tell you what she does. I officiated basketball for 25 years. When you block a shot, it's not just because you're tall. It's because you have.
You don't always have to jump.
No, I know it, but it's jump. But also, it takes. It's a finesse thing too, though.
It's timing.
You have to have timing. Exactly. The word is timing. You have to have timing. Her timing is unreal, Mike. And then also how quickly her jump, and see when she gets that long arm up there, this is girls basketball now. She's 6'5", and her arm extension is it's probably 9 feet. So when she jumps up in the air, she's gonna knock down a lot of balls. And I think that's what, she's not a great offensive player. She's not a great rebounder, but what she does better than anything is block shots. So how would you like to have a team?
She's pretty good rebounder. I've seen her.
Well, she is, and she's 6'5".
I tell you what she's really good at for a big girl. Be 6'4". She can shoot free throws.
Oh yeah, she's a great free throw shooter. That whole team is a great free throw shooter. The coach's daughter.
The Soller kid's really good too.
Oh yeah, the coach's daughter is real good, and she gets the young. Yeah, she's got a couple of more years, but again, it's the timing. How would you like to coach a team and not have to worry about anybody scoring on you within 10 feet? You know what I mean? Within 10 feet, she's going to block every shot. That's how good she is.
It's always a lot of pressure though when you're the most dominant team in the state. Everybody, if you don't win a state championship, it's going to waste a year.
But I know that sounds crazy, but she is that intimidating. She's an intimidating player blocking shots. She's not just tall; she has great timing on block shots, and that's the rest of the story. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats. So we got barbecue champion Big Mo Quezon to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Back to our show. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly on North 3-Night Street right here in Troy, Mike, and they've got those little old pecan pies that I love. I bought a case of them, and I think I've eaten almost every one of them myself. They're so good. But, I noticed, and I did some research on that little pie, they charge just 50 cents or 2 for $1 for those pies, and like I said, I buy them by the case. They're made by the same people that makes the moon pies. And those people, and people have been making moon pies for years and years and years. They know a little bit about baking. And
I'll be honest with you, though, moon pie is something I just don't really crave.
Well, I don't necessarily crave it either, but that's who it's made by. We got sirloin pork chops for 98 cents a pound today. We got fried drumsticks and thighs for 88 cents a pound. Sliced jumbo franks, 99 cents a pound. Gwaltney bacon, 2 for $5. That's a good deal there. And of course, they got baby back ribs, $2.79 a pound.
That's a real good deal on bacon, 2 for $5.
Yeah, I know. Anytime you can buy bacon that cheap, you need to buy it.
Bacon's really gone up.
Exactly right. Mike Amos is on our show this morning, calling in from Birmingham, and we were talking about Trent Richardson. Ladies and gentlemen, he was a Heisman. Did he win the Heisman?
He came in third in the Heisman.
Okay, one of the greatest backs in Alabama history. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh,
And he was known for being rugged, hard-nosed, and then break away for a touchdown. He would wear defense down with his so hard to bring down.
Well, he had the biggest legs you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
I remember when we saw him in the before the Clemson game when he was a freshman. We were in Atlanta in the Georgia Dome watching the Alabama Clemson game.
That's right.
And, we were watching him warm up. The first thing he talked about was his legs.
Yeah. And see,
he
was
one of those guys that was a first-round pick, had a great rookie season with the Browns, and then after that got traded to the Colts and just didn't have many productive years, and now he's had a lot of off-the-field issues and, ran around with the wrong guys and probably lost a lot of his money, and he's trying to play for the Alliance Football League, which starts up in February in Birmingham. They got a team. So we'll see how it works out for him playing in Birmingham.
But he's one of the great ones. He's one of the great ones that didn't make it. How about the linebacker?
Trey Mason, the great running back for Auburn, Trey Mason, that led him to the national championship a few years ago. He's playing in the Canadian League now.
Right,
he's out of the league.
Exactly. Also,
guys don't make it.
Also the great quarterback from Texas A&M, he didn't make it.
Yeah, Manziel just got traded in the Canadian leagues to Montreal, so he was not getting a chance to play because that Jeroboam Masoli, who was a great quarterback in Oregon and then was a great quarterback for one season at Ole Miss.
I remember him. Yeah. But how about probably the biggest? There's been several.
All time, Marcus Russell out of Mobile.
And you and I sat up in that upper deck one night and watched him destroy Alabama. You remember that?
Yeah, but I mean,
he destroyed Alabama almost by himself, and of course he was from Mobile.
Shula teams coming off probation, though. Those were horrible Alabama teams.
Yeah, but again, he was a great college player.
The year, I don't know if you remember, but Brody Kroll had his knee injury that year, and they had Spencer Pennington, the kid from Fayette, at quarterback. That was that year.
Spencer Pennington was the quarterback.
Yeah, against LSU. So.
Kroll never became near the player that he was expected to be. Of course, his daddy was an All-American, and he was raised in that
Big Oak
Boys Ranch, and great Christian kid, but he never really made it, did he?
Well, he was a 4th-round pick, and he played and started for Kansas City.
Did he start at Kansas City?
Yeah, he was starting quarterback in the NFL. He never won a game.
Well, of course, what are they going to do with that franchise, mate? They cannot win. What's wrong?